Time to finish up the clothing on the little Mo Manning image that I'm coloring today. Again, this is from her For School Kids collection at Digital Pencil 2. I'm using a YR30 to give my little jacket a base tone, and YR31 paired with a YR24 for the shadow tones. It's just a pale yellow jacket. I'm leaving the trim white. I think YR31 is one of my favorite yellows. It's just such a nice buttercream yellow. There's the 24. I'll soften that up with the YR31 and then blend it on in with the YR30 a little higher. A little more tip-to-tip blending there. You can see I have a tiny little yellow mark to the edge of the pant leg on the left side. I should be able to get that out with my colorless blender. I won't stop and do it right now though. Again, base coating the jacket with the YR30. YR31. I'll be able to work in just a little bit of YR24. Sure, I'll have a shadow right around her armpit, where that arm wraps in toward her body, and so does the jacket. I can see that when I colored the hands, I missed part of an arm, but I'll go back and get that. Needed to color the flower there while I still had the yellows out. I'll add a red center to it a bit later. And we're going to color that book bag yellow as well. It reminds me a little bit of chamois with that fringe on there. So far I've used YR30 and YR31 I'm using right now. There's my YR24. Softening it with the YR31. Can't forget the straps. Need some shadows on those straps. The buckle would leave shadows as well. Softening the shadows up now. And now I'm working on the collar of the jacket. Again, I thought I'd just let the jacket be trimmed in white using a T0 toner gray and a T2 a bit later. First there is 0 to soften the T0. There's my T2. It's okay to leave some of those shadows harder there, up near her head. That chin would cast a hard shadow. I'd have a harder shadow under the apple and under the hand because they're so close to her body. There, going back to color that arm. And add a tiny bit of shadow that the jacket would cast on her hand. Still need to color the shoes. I'm using some of the same colors that I used for her skin tones here. I forgot to change my marker caps out there. But we're talking about E13, E35, and E37 here. I'm assuming these shoes are just a little bit shiny anyway, though I will take a paler marker and cover most of that up, but I don't want to get it too dark from the very beginning. And yes, I usually work light to dark. I just left it that way this time. It'll blend before it's over with though, so we won't worry about it. Okay, there's my E13. Pulling out a colorless blender to add a little bit of scuffed toe to her shoes, just lighten it up a tiny bit where her big toe would be. Usually kids have kind of scuffed shoes there, at least I always did. Color those little ponytail holders red. And add a few more grays for the buckle and the zipper on the book bag. Next, I'm pulling out my blue violet, my weapon of choice to add shadows on warmer colors. Since blue violet's complementary for the yellowish tones there, and since it's a cool temperature color. It's nice for adding shadows. The BB00 is light enough too that I don't have to worry about it making an area look just really purple. It's just cooling it down. Shadows cast by that little jacket tail on her polo shirt. And here's a BB01. I think I'm going to cool down those jeans a bit too in the shadow areas. Again, just emphasizing the shadows with that BB01, cooling them off just a little bit more to make them stand out. I'm about ready to put some shadows there just to ground my image. You know, I'm not going to have really long shadows because the light is not way over to the right, but it is slightly to the right, so I am going to cast a bit of shadow behind and toward the left. I really don't need much shadow in front of the foot though, because the light's definitely coming from in front if you look at her face. That's about as dark as I'm going to be able to get with my C1. I'm going to switch to something a little bit darker here. There's the C2. Now, I could make a very hard edge shadow if she were in bright sunlight. And actually, the closer the shadow is to her, the harder edged it should be. And the further it is away from her, the softer edged it would be. Softening it up just on the very outside, and I'm almost finished. That's it. Thanks for taking time to visit with me while I colored tonight.